I'm Amy, this is The Opinionated Woman, and welcome to my December wrap-up. I must tell you in advance that this has been a very strange reading month for me. I've been experiencing a lot of anxiety, a lot of struggles with my mental health. We're adjusting my meds, trying to make everything sorted. If you don't know, I have bipolar. So yeah, that's definitely affected my reading. I also have read some chonksters, which makes a difference. I also had 2 DNFs, which is not really common for me to do, but I'm not going to say too much about them. But basically, the Sistine Secrets, which I spoke about in my first reading vlog, good book, just not for me, so that's going on my donate pile. And then this is the fucker that got me. That's on the first 30 seconds, right? Apparently if you swear in the first 30 seconds, they catch you. I got 400 pages into Inkspell before I DNF'd it. I know this is a very beloved series. The reason I am DNFing it is completely personal, and it's not something that I am going to talk about on the internet. So this, along with its fellows, is going to be donated. So, to the books I actually read. The first book I read in November, is it November? Yes, was Talismans of Shannara by Terry Brooks. This is a classic fantasy series. It was written in the 90s or 80s even. So it's like pretty dated. Don't expect there to be a lot of diversity, though there are some very good female characters in here, but very few. Yeah, this is the last book, 1993. I was 3 years old. I was given this entire series by when a family member passed away, and I decided to read it, and finally I can say, here it is, I have finished a freaking fantasy series. My god, like, fantasy series are hard to finish and dusty. But I have been trying to make a conscious effort to actually finish the series I'm starting. So I have a little thing in the back of my book that has a track of all of the series that I'm reading and the books that I'm reading of them. Because otherwise I read one book, enjoy it, and forget about it because so many new books come out. This as a series, it was good. I did enjoy it. It suffered from second book syndrome. So this one here, The Druid of Shannara, boring as all tits, I tell you. But then the last 2, The Elf Queen of Shannara, and then the last one that I read, The Talisman of Shannara, is a good one. I obviously can't really get into what happened in that book specifically because it's the 4th in a series, but basically 3 people, Ren Ohmsford, Pa Ohmsford, and Walker Bow, who are all from the same family, they get visited by the shade of a druid, and he gives them 3 tasks that they need to complete before their world that is in turmoil can be brought back to normality once more. So the first 3 books, it follows one of each of the people, achieving these tasks, and then the 4th one is where we sign it all off together. I'd say if you have started reading or have read the Wheel of Time series, they are very similar. Like the vibe, the main character, like they are really similar. So you might like it, but also like I wouldn't bother reading both. I am reading both, but that one's finished now. So now I can just focus on Wheel of Time. After that, I listened to the audiobooks of Rules for Vanishing. It was actually funny. I was doing yoga the one day, and while I was doing yoga, a color came into my head. It's gonna make me sound nuts, but a color scheme came into my head, and I realized that it was the cover for Rules for Vanishing that I'd seen on Scribd. So I was like, "Fuck it, cool. I'm gonna read that one next." It's a YA. I don't know if you'd call it a horror or a fantasy or magical realism. I'm not sure what you would call it. It was sold to me from the blurb as a cross between Stranger Things and the Blair Witch Project, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm here for it. There's some really gross, gory bits in there, like body horror, if you are sensitive to that kind of thing. But really, that describes it very well. It's a group of friends. There's this. It's hard to describe without like giving away stuff, but there's this road in this town, and there's a game that they play. Helicopters. Okay, so the road exists by this small town, but it sort of exists outside of reality. So you have to embark on the journey on the road. It's like a game that people play, but along the years, people have disappeared along this road. You need to do it with a group of people, which is where I think the Stranger Things parallel gets drawn, because it's, you know, a group of teenagers that need to go on this journey. And the reason they're going on this journey is one of them, the main character, who I can't remember now and I can't look up because it's an audio book, her sister did this journey and disappeared on the road like a year ago. So now they are embarking on the journey on the road to try and find her. And hot damn, like go into reading this book as blind as possible. I know I did a terrible description of it, but it is so beautifully written, and it jumps between, which is why the Blair Witch Project part comes in, is it jumps between police reports, actual interviews between the people that took part in this, is like after the fact, clips from their cell phones, text messages. It's got a whole bunch of like evidence leading you to what really happened, and I thought it was beautifully done. I would definitely read Kate Alice Marshall again. That is the type of horror that I enjoy. It's the type of horror that I don't like in movies, but I like in my brain. Okay, the next one, another one that's like impossible to describe. Mr. Fox by Helen Oyeyemi. This is the first Helen Oyeyemi I've tried. Everybody has said her stuff is super weird. I'm all for super weird, and I love a character-driven plot, and this is that. I hate when people read the backs, but you know, sometimes you have to read the back. So, it's a brilliant afternoon in 1938, and Mary Fox is in a confrontational mood. St. John Fox, celebrated novelist, hasn't seen her in 6 years. He's unprepared for her afternoon visit, not least because she doesn't exist. He has infatuated her, but he also made her up. Will Mr. Fox meet his muse's challenge to stop murdering his heroines and explore something of love? What will his wife Daphne think of the sudden change in her husband? And can there be a happy ending this time? So it follows a novelist, his poor wife, because he's one of those guys, and a character that he completely fictionalized that has become corporeal. So he can interact with her, and so can his wife. So it is a very strange exploration of creativity and the stories we trick ourselves into believing. Let's put it that way. It's very strange. It's very wonderful. If you like Helen Oyeyemi, you'll probably like this. I am excited to read a lot more of hers in the future. After that, I read Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda and Ngozi Adiche. I spoke about this quite a bit in my reading vlog. I will link both of them down below. So this one follows, now I need to look at, it's been a while and my brain has been so foggy. Does anyone else with mental health issues experience foggy brain? So like, I thought Rules for Vanishing I read freaking like months ago, but it's literally last month. Just anyway, so it's following our main character Kambili, who lives in Nigeria with her brother and her mom and dad. Her dad is a Catholic extremist. He's very strict. He's very abusive. Trigger warnings for abuse. Do any of the other books have trigger warnings in them? Because I think trigger warnings are very important. No, but this definitely has some trigger warnings. So just be aware of the abuse. It's about his hypocrisy. They end up going to go live with their aunt for a while, and she's much more tolerant of people in general. Like it goes into the struggles that Nigeria were going through, blackouts all the time, fuel deficiencies, all of that kind of stuff, the university getting shut down. Yeah, it's just as the military coup happens. Yes, yes. It also talks a lot about how missionaries have stripped native people of their traditional religions and replaced it with Catholicism. It's a very hard word to say. And, you know, how detrimental that can be. I put some tabs in this because this is a book that was on the set list for my sibling at school. And I'm surprised because my school is a Catholic missionary school. So, like, this does not paint them in a very good light. So here he compares how a religion and oppression can't live separately. Like, this is not any hate on anybody who's religious. This is a systemic issue when it comes to people being missionaries in other countries, you know, because we don't need, like, go back. I mean, I'm a result of that, and I know I shouldn't be here, you know, it's that kind of thing. And then, oh, yes, so this, one of the cousins wants to be is going to be baptized, and when you're not baptized, confirmed, when you're confirmed, you choose a saint's name, and she refuses to choose a white name because that's not part of her culture. And I thought that was a very powerful moment to, like, that character, the cousin, see, I can't remember the names, but the cousin character in here, she's very strong, she's very great, she knows what she's talking about. And I think she's a lot of inspiration for Kambili, who is someone who's very reserved. I mean, the kid is probably suffering from so much PTSD. Yeah, it's beautiful. Obviously, Chimamanda Ngozi Adiche is incredible. Read everything she writes. That's basically it. And the last book is one I spoke about a lot in my vlog, so I won't go too much into it, and it is Johannesburg by Fiona Melrose. This is obviously a book about my home city, written by a South African author, and it follows our main character, Jin, and a couple of other... it actually has a few main characters. So it has Jin, their domestic worker Mercy, her mother, not Mercy's mother, Jin's mother, and a homeless man called September, who protests outside the Diamond Building in Johannesburg because of the injuries he sustained in the Marikana massacres. I'm sorry, my golden retriever is barking at nothing. So this book takes place over one entire day, just one day, the day that Nelson Mandela died, back in 2013. I checked this in my vlog. God damn it, Amy, you're supposed to try and be a pro. 2013, 6th of December 2013, when Madiba died. And I go into a lot more detail about all of that kind of stuff in my vlog, so I think rather go check that out, because it goes into a lot more depth about how much this feels like a Johannesburg novel. Like, it is set, like the feeling, I lived in Johannesburg for 25 years, and it feels very true to the place without being overly romantic and trying to make it something that it's not, you know, because ultimately it is a flawed city. So yeah, I recommend it, and I definitely want to pick up the next book that she has in her or the book she wrote before this one, sorry, Midwinter. So that is all. Editing Amy here. Turns out I left out a book. I left out the fact that I read Godsgrave by Jay Kristoff. I luckily did talk about it a lot in the vlog that I've already mentioned. It's the second in a series, so I can't really tell you much about it. It just carries on from the stories of Nevernight. In Nevernight, we're following a main character called Mia Corvere, who is whose whole family is killed, and she joins the church. I can't remember what her name is, because I want to say Lady of Death, but that's because I'm reading Cemetery Boys right now. Basically, it's a church for assassins, and she goes and trains there. The second book carries on a completely different storyline. It still follows Mia, but it'll completely spoil it if I tell you. So go and watch that vlog. I do talk about it in there. I talk about Jay Kristoff's incredible skill at writing fight scenes. But other than that, because it's a sequel, I can't really go into it. It's dark, it's gory. There's a lot of trigger warnings. There's a lot of violence. What other trigger warnings would there be? Yeah, violence and abuse, I think, would be the main trigger warnings there. But it's a really good book. I know I do discuss in my vlog why some people don't like it, and I totally get it. But yeah, my bad. For November, nice little quick one. December will probably be the same because December is crazy. So if you like what you see, please hit the little thumbs up button, subscribe, and tap that little bell for notifications. Be kind to people, be kind to yourself, wear a mask, and I'll see you next time.